Welcome to the Indy Fitness Summit. On today's interview, I'd like to introduce to you Nate and LaRissa Reynolds. They are the co-owners of Never Settle Fitness. It's a gym located in the Castleton area. They have done some tremendous work with a lot of different people from various backgrounds, some of them who may actually be surprising. So again, enjoy this interview with Nate and LaRissa. I'd like to welcome Nate and LaRissa Reynolds from Never Settle Fitness. How are you two this afternoon?
Hi. We're doing fantastic. How about yourself?
Oh, I can't complain. Well, tell us a little bit about Never Settle.
Yes, absolutely. So Never Settle in general was a phrase that my father coined many years ago. And a background on his story, he was diagnosed with an incurable cancer called multiple myeloma when I was 7 years old. And at first, with his diagnosis, he was only given 2 weeks to live, but he actually ended up living 7 years after that. And during that course of the 7 years of him battling and fighting for his life, he adopted the phrase never settle. And it really meant never settle for anything less than God's best in your life. Never settle for a diagnosis, never settle for, a job that you're not being appreciated at, or that relationship that is toxic. Never settle can really be applied to all areas of life. And my father coined that as he was fighting this battle. And he actually preached a sermon at our church at the time called Never Settle. And it was all about stepping out of the bands of mediocrity and leaving your excuses at the door and really stepping outside your comfort zone. So after my father passed away, we took on that phrase, and we have really tried to make it a household name. So from that, Never Settle Fitness was born, and we have big plans for the future of where we plan to grow this community.
Fitness industry, what drew you to that direction in order to spread the Never Settle message?
I was just an athlete growing up, and I gained off of it. So I've always loved helping people. I've always been into taking care of my body and fitness. And then when I learned about personal training and how I could actually use my passions to leverage a career out of it, I was all in. And then fitness kind of opened up the door for me for overall health and wellness as well. And I think Nate has a similar story.
Yeah, for myself, as I probably spoke to you a couple of times about some of the jerseys and some of the memorabilia you have hanging up in your space over there, is that I was a former standout basketball player right here in the state of Indiana. So I had a lot of connections and ties, and I've always really enjoyed that physical component of working out, keeping your body in shape, progressing your game, just really being adamant about taking the physical side serious as far as what you're doing in the gym to better grow your game. And in the meanwhile of doing that, I had a fantastic strength and conditioning coach. His name is Adam Lane. He actually does strongman competitions on ESPN, lifting the stones, pulling the trucks. So I was fortunate enough to really land a guy like that that's very knowledgeable, very educated, and very serious about moving the right way, learning what you're doing, how to build the body in the proper way, so that not only do you see the results on the floor, no matter what sport it is, but you also keep yourself at a low risk of injury because you maintain a proper form, so on and so on. And then after the basketball ship kind of sailed later in life, like I said, I've always enjoyed the working out aspect. So once I kind of got away from it, I kind of ventured into it. And then when I saw what type of income and what kind of life can come from, getting into the training industry on a different level versus just going to the traditional like LA Fitness, Lifetime, YMCA route, I really delved in. And then I've always enjoyed educating and working with people, saying that I was a point guard and I've always had a bit of a leadership role. It kind of just all manifested itself together.
Okay. Now, with you two being married and working together, how does that, is that a plus or minus, or in terms of how things get done? Is it like more women want to work with LaRissa, more men want to work with you, Nate, or is it kind of or is that a draw for other families? So does it bring in more husband-wife couples that come and work out?
It's exactly what you said there. I know from the male trainer experience, we get a lot of female clientele that comes in that kind of felt a bit of uncomfortable being with other male trainers, and seeing that I have my wife available here at the gym, I feel like a lot of those negative limitations get waived and a lot of those women feel comfortable. They come in, they like the philosophy. And as you know, we have a family atmosphere with 2 kids, a dog running around. So that really, really lessens that intimidation factor for a lot of folks. So we really do get a lot of those everyday people that pretty much come in here and, you know, they really love the feel of everything we have going on.
Yeah, well, and speaking of some of your clients, like, I mean, that's a great, I've been in there, I've seen the atmosphere, I see the kids running around. Some of your clients, there's like people who other people probably wouldn't take on in terms of they may have some sort of a disability or some sort of issue that most trainers would probably see as a liability or something they just don't want to deal with. What's your philosophy on taking on like clients like that? Because that's the first time I ever heard of something like that.
Yes, so we believe in taking a holistic approach to everything. So we are really big on addressing all pillars of wellness, which we include to be your nutrition, your sleep, your quality of sleep, how are you managing your stress levels, and then also the physical fitness side of it. So we really try to encompass all 4 of those and address those needs to the particular individual. And again, taking a natural approach. So we believe in eating God-given foods. We believe in getting things as close to their natural state as possible to provoke healing in the body. And that's really, I think, what separates us from others is that, you know, we can take on clientele like that maybe other trainers don't have experience or might be a little afraid to take on because we really specialize in healing. We specialize in whether it's reversing disease or those aches and pains that you're talking about. Many times people have come in with shoulder issues. Nate really does well with that, where people come in for one thing and then we end up, you know, really zeroing in on all the issues that their body has and reversing a lot of the things that they didn't even know that they were coming to us for. So we just really try to stay as holistic and as natural as possible.
And I will add one thing to that, and as far as those clientele go, we also see it as an opportunity to learn. And I'm pretty sure you yourself, as a healthcare professional, to say the least, when you get a client in that kind of brings a different dynamic than you're a bit used to, I don't see it as anything to be fearful of. I see it as an opportunity for me to go home, kind of educate myself, kind of learn what it is that I'm dealing with here and try to work around it and see if I can help this person, especially if they're already in a position where everyone's turning them away. We have that happen before. And worst case scenario is a person couldn't be any worse coming in here. They can't get any worse coming in here than they are than when they leave. So we know at some point we're going to be able to help you at some point, whether it's maybe you won't get that, you know, 6-pack or that perfect stature as far as how your body is in perfect alignment due to the disabilities that you may have been born with, but you can learn how to properly eat to keep your body from, you know, being in such a susceptible position to, you know, having a lot of these chronic aches and pains from the foods you're eating, so on and so on. So we just always see it as we can help you no matter what the case may be, even if you're not going to get the best physical results. Maybe on the other side, you can get better sleep in the future, lower stress levels, better nutrition going in, and that's going to add and benefit everything else that we're trying to accomplish here.
Right. So it's truly an individualized approach. So each person comes in with whatever their issue is or their condition or whatever their goals may be, and it's tailored strictly for them. Is there a certain client that you really work with best, or is it more of those we'll take on those people who others won't, because that kind of fits that individualized model?
I definitely think that, you know, we welcome everyone here, and we will take on those clients that other places may not be as prepared to take on. But I would say that our typical ideal client is just the everyday American. That's your, you know, mom who just wants a break from the kids and needs to get away and maybe get stronger so she can, you know, be more restful, be more mindful, and have more strength to get through her duties as a wife and as a mom at home. Or, you know, maybe it's the dad who needs to lose 30 pounds, or the grandma, the grandpa who just want to be able to keep up with their grandkids. Our ideal client is the average person, the everyday, hardworking American.
Yeah, like she said, we want to work with everyone, but in our space with the way we do things, unfortunately, we don't get a ton of young athletes. We do get them in, but primarily we see a lot of those everyday people that's looking for a simple quality of life improvement. They may know that they're never going to look like the folks working out at the CrossFit gym next door, and they're okay with that. But if we can help them get off if we can help them lower that list of those 9 medications or whatever that they're taking, just to help them better it, improve their quality of life, then that's what we're here to do. And those are the people that we see typically that just come in with those everyday issues from working hard and trying to get that piece of the American dream.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. Like, that's one of my biggest goals also, is to help people live their best life that they can live possible. Yes. Especially if they're not a pharmaceutical customer, so to speak. Some of us are like extra customers with 12 medications.
Yeah.
So we're trying to keep that at a minimum. So that's why I think we got along, in terms of, we have a similar philosophy in terms of what we're doing with the people that we're working with. What's one of the biggest shifts you've seen out of a client in terms of the biggest transformation that you've been able to witness thus far?
Well, I would say it's very hard to narrow it down to just one, because we see a lot of different people and they get a lot of different kind of results, and it may not be the most physical. But if I can maybe think on one specific case, maybe I would say that I had a client who I was working with, and she never even disclosed this information to me, but she travels a lot. She's in the medical field. She's a dentist, but she would get a lot of numbness in her shoulder when she fly from being on the air for too long at that altitude. And after about 3 months of working with me, I came over. She does in-home sessions, and she told me that she went on a flight during the holiday season from here in the States and flew all the way to Spain, which if you fly a lot, that's around 14 hours or so. And I don't know if it's a couple stops in between there as far as delay time go. But she said she went through that whole trip and not one issue, got off the plane, and it was something that she didn't even think about until it was over with, and it was a huge thing for her. And like we said, it's the quality of life. It's not the inches or the weight loss necessarily. It's about being able to do things that you do normally without any issues.
Yeah, and I would have to agree with that. I don't know necessarily about pinpointing one case. I love working with fat loss clients, so of course I could tell you, this person has lost 50 pounds, or this person has lost 3 inches in their waist, or I can go on and on about that. But I think what I really enjoy are the people who say things like, I didn't have to put on an extender on my seatbelt on the airplane anymore. I didn't have to do that this time. Or I was able to pick up my grandkid and I didn't throw out my back because you taught me how to do that properly. Or
going on family vacation and being able to partake in some of the activities that you would normally sit up to the side for because you weren't confident enough, you weren't strong or healthy enough to get out there and partake in some of the water activities if you're going to Florida or Hawaii. As you know, we got a lot of different clients, a lot of big time clients that come in, so they do a lot of things, and being able to, enjoy this with their family, that's a new bonding experience, and that builds and grows their relationships with their loved ones and everything a lot stronger.
So I would say that I think they come in and they say, I want to lose this amount of weight, or I want to look like this, and then they leave with something so much more. And that's where we really get our joy and our drive to keep doing it.
All right. There's 2 things that you all brought up there that I want to ask you about. One, LaRissa, you talked about people who want to lose weight. And I would say you would know something about that because you had 2 children. So you know how that right. And then Nate, you were talking about home visits. So you all actually you will take your stuff outside of the gym and actually go to people if necessary. So kind of expand on both of those for me.
Okay. Well, in home, we want to make this experience as convenient as possible. So a lot of the people we work with, they got a lot of responsibility there, running their own businesses. And sometimes these are multi-million-dollar businesses. So they're pretty successful. They have a lot going on, a lot of responsibility, and they don't always think they got the time. So on our end, we want to say, hey, let's make it as convenient as possible. Why don't I bring the workout to you? So that way it's less for you to think about. It's less movement. It's just less, less stuff for you to have on your mind. Whereas I bring it to you, we get it done there in the comfort of your home, and you are the best equipment. Being that client, I don't really need too much. I can just come there, pretty much work you out real good, stretch you out, make sure your body's feeling great, and just try to make it something that's not one more thing you have to do, but try to make that priority higher on the list, knowing that you don't have to go out of your way to try and do it.
Yeah, and I would say most of our clients do come to our facility, but it's great for our clients who travel a lot or who are doctors and maybe they have to make a lot of late changes in their schedule because they have a surgery or something that they have to attend to. So typically Nate can really cater to those individuals to meet their busy schedule. I think every mom has felt this way and has been in a situation where, your body goes through a lot of changes during pregnancy and then labor, postpartum, and it can be tough, especially for someone in my position where I was always in really good shape prior to getting pregnant. I worked out during my pregnancies as much as my body allowed, but you still have to sit down for 6+ weeks afterwards, and you lose a lot of muscle, your skin gets stretched out, and you're essentially starting from ground zero At least that's what it feels like. So, you know, I did that. I felt like as soon as I got back to where I was feeling like myself again, we got pregnant again. So it was just kind of starting the process all over. And, you know what, I'm still not where I want to be, but I am grateful for the knowledge that I have and the opportunity to have my kids in the gym with us. I'm getting to a point where I am able to put myself first again and really kind of zero in on my goals and what I want to accomplish now that my youngest is going to be 2 in May. So I've been there. After I had my daughter, I would like to say that it was all baby weight, but I got very depressed during that time. And I put on about 30, 35 pounds. And I just woke up one day and I said, you know what? I don't want to live like this. I don't want to look like this. I don't feel good. It's hard getting up in the mornings. It's hard being motivated. And I just said, I gotta change it. And I'm kind of an all or nothing personality. So when I do something, I just do it. And from that, I actually was able to create a healing and wellness detox program that really kind of jump-started my results. And once I got to that point, I wanted to share it with other people. So now I have that as a tool to help everybody, but you know, a lot of women get to the position that I am now from where I was, where, you know, getting out of bed was hard for me, or, you know, feeling like myself was hard. That's really been a blessing, and I'm excited about growing that community.
Now, if someone wanted to get a hold of you all to work with you or to find out more information, how would they do so?
Yeah, neversettlefitness.org. It's our website. We're easy find on Google. We primarily get a lot of our business as it is today, either word or mouth, or a lot of people do a quick Google search. Personal training gyms that specialize in back rehab, shoulder rehab, or something that is kind of spot specific someone looking for. We're always generally one of those first gyms to pop up, because like we established early in this conversation, we take a lot of those rare cases that a lot of people aren't willing to open their mind up to and kind of further educate themselves and help that person out.
Yep. So yeah, neversettlefitness.org, or you can follow us on Facebook or Instagram at neversettlefit, and you'll find us there as well.
All right. Well, Nate and LaRissa, I appreciate you all being on the virtual summit.
All right. Thank you. Thanks for reaching out and having us be a part of it. We really appreciate it.
I appreciate it.